So, the Indiana Fever and Chicago Sky. These are two teams that, well, played against each other quite a few times last year. The Fever winning 3 of the 4 and really choking the one that they lost. It could have easily been a sweep for the Indiana Fever. At the same time, though, was one of the games, was it the first one the Sky probably could have won? Either way, though, we're going to be seeing it a lot, and I mean a lot, next season. Before we get on to it, we are doing Hoopsmas. We are uploading 5 videos every single day on this channel. And lads, even though we missed one, we did go and miss one because, well, we, unfortunately, the Nalissa Smith news turned out to be false. It was, turns out that her cryptic tweet was not about the Fever. Her brother confirmed that. And ideally, I'm not going to leave up a video of factually incorrect information. I say that now, and there's definitely at least one of them still on the channel, but if something is debunked within a couple of minutes, I'm going to be I will take it down ideally anyway. But before we get on to, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. Wrong channel. Subscribe to this one though if you like NBA content. But we are trying to hit 39,350 or 375 by the end of the day. We're not going to hit 39,400. But if we can hit 375, that'd be insane. We're trying to hit 40,000 by the end of the month. But lads, as you guys can see here, WNBA is not shying away from Caitlin Clark and Reese Rivalry. The commissioner previously embraced the rivalry, and the league's 2025 schedule proved it's going to be the case. The first game of the year, Clark versus Reese. If you guys don't know, from the 17th of May till September the 9th, we are going to be seeing, over those 4 months, we're going to be seeing these teams play 5 times. We will not see an entire month without these two teams playing against each other. So, there's a lot to be exciting about. Many of the league's teams got extremely creative, which included Minnesota shading the Liberty and Fever and the Wings recruiting popular food critic Keith Lee for the reveal. Not to mention other marquee events were presented, like the Fever facing off with Coach Stephanie White, Connecticut Sun in Boston. It's one aspect of the schedule that immediately stood out was how many times the Fever are set to go head-to-head with the Sky. The two squads meet 5 times. I repeat, they meet 5 times. So listen to what Robin Lundberg says. And by the way, just in case I do forget, I am quite forgetful when it comes to some of this stuff. Like, unfortunately, I am when it comes to linking stuff. But obviously, go subscribe to Robin Lundberg's YouTube channel if you guys haven't. He is the Sports Illustrated journalist who has written this article. But let's listen to what he says.
The WNBA certainly considers Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese to be a rivalry. You can tell by the schedule, which features the Sky and Fever playing each other in each team's first respective game of next season. And it's one of 5 meetings between the two teams in 2025, the most for any squad on the Fever's schedule. And though it'll be a while before we actually get to see that Fever and Sky showdown, just seeing that it's coming will probably give some WNBA fans the same bounce Caitlin Clark had.
But it's funny, like, a lot of people are talking about, oh, it's the Fever, the Sky. I actually don't think the Fever and Sky are rivals because they're in different spots next season. Like, the Indiana Fever are competing for that somewhere between the 5th seed and the 2nd seed, depending on, look, if the Fever are behind the Aces, if the Sun run it back and they're good, and they're behind the Aces, the Sun, the Lynx, the Liberty, and their 5th seed, cool. But they're gunning for that. Like, that is the minimum acceptable thing for the Fever, is them finishing in 5th place. For the Sky, realistically, the Dallas Wings are better than the Chicago Sky coming into next season. More than likely are going to be better. The Atlanta Dream are more than likely going to be better than the Chicago Sky. The Mercury are going to be better than the Sky. Like, the Sky are... If the Sky scrape into the playoffs, it's a hugely successful season for them. Whereas the Fever are like, if they finish lower than the 5th seed, it's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. So I don't think there's really that rivalry there. Because, like, look, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese was a rivalry. It was a rivalry last season because they were rookies. It'll be a rivalry if Angel Reese becomes a comparable level player to Caitlin Clark. But the rivalry is going to be Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers on an individual basis. And team basis, it's going to be Caitlin Clark versus it's going to be the Fever versus the Sun. The Fever stole their coach, and Dejanay plays for the Sun. That's really going to be the rivalry. And I would have had that game on 5 times. But yeah, it is. The reality is like Angel Reese's rivalries are going to be more so with Kiki Iriafen when she comes in. Is Kiki going to be better? Rivalries with like Aaliyah Edwards in Washington, with maybe not quite Asia yet because look, she's not nearly Asia Wilson, but Alyssa Thomas. That is a matchup that Alyssa Thomas hates coming up. Like Alyssa Thomas, people talk about Dejanay, like trying to cheap shot Caitlin Clark. No, Alyssa Thomas has twice, not once, twice cheap shot at Angel Reese. She hates Angel Reese. Like they're where the real rivalries should be. Either way, though, obviously the WNBA are still pushing this rivalry. But honestly, if I was the WNBA, I think with the conferences you only play each other 3 times, but I would make sure the Fever played Dallas 4 times. Because if you guys don't know, the Fever versus the Wings were some of the most watched games last year because people love watching Enrique. So everyone wanted to watch that game to watch like Caitlin Clark face off against Enrique, and now that team has got Paige Beckers too. Like that's going to be one of the biggest games of the year. The first time they play, I think the first time they play is like right before. If I'm not mistaken, it's like right before All-Star Weekend. If I need to look through all of like the schedules because I'm going to a Fever game this year. I need to see the schedule of which one suits best. But yeah, that's an interesting one. But they're playing each other 5 times. Like 5 times is an awful lot of times. Like you absolutely do not need to play a team 5 times in 4 months. It's already bad. It was already enough when they seemed to be playing each other every other week. And like the fact is their last matchup was so hyped because it wasn't like 3 times in the month of June. They legitimately played each other 3 times in June. And then one of them was like the 30th of August. So that was a pretty big game anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. A very interesting thing for the schedule, and I do think it's going to be it's going to be another big season in the W. I think Paige coming in is going to help it a lot as well. It's just annoying that she's not going to somewhere like the Valkyries, because it would be cool if she was at somewhere where she was going to get 15,000 people at every game like Golden State. But anyway, yeah, that is the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.